Hey, welcome back. Long time no see. Sorry for the long break. It's been a very busy holiday season for me, but I hope it's going well for all of you. And as you can see, I'm going to be doing another series for 18OE, Rails in the Orient Express. I know some of you are probably wondering, well, why are you doing that? You announced you have like all these new games, and I do. I have, I think 3 of them from GMT. One arrives on Monday. Today is Friday. And I guarantee you that one that's arriving on Monday, it's called Space Core. That is going to be my next game. Come hell or high water, I'm going to figure out those rules and we're going to be playing that one. I'm so excited about that one. It just scratches a lot of itches for me. I really love D-Day at Omaha Beach, which is one that I want to also do a series on. And so it's made by the same designer. I also have 2 other GMT games, and I have Folklore of the Affliction, I have Donning the Purple, I have Crusaders Thy Will Be Done from TMG, and then I even got the latest expansion for Dinosaur Island. So why am I doing this when I have so much other good shiny things to distract me? My answer is simple. I have some friends coming over this weekend to play this. And so I have time to video a series, and I'm going to do that. And I don't want to have to tear down my game to set this up. This takes a long time to set up. I've spent probably 2 hours setting this up. And so it's set up now. I'm going to do a series. I also don't have to explain the rules. So if you're here and you're wondering what this game's all about and you're not sure what the rules are, go see my other series. I do another full playthrough of this game where I slow down and explain all the rules. I'm not going to do that on this one. We're just going to do another fun series. As you may recall, when we did the last series, I had 4 AI bots, and they, I think it was an extremely close game. Like, we were all within like $1,000 of each other. It was amazingly close. So I'm going to try to do that again, and let's try another game. Now, one of the things I did was I'm going to try to do things a little differently. As you may recall, the last series, I did a lot of walking around my table because everybody was positioned in like an actual chair. And I would put their companies in front of those chairs, and then I had to walk around the table to give them money. I have it set up now where everything can be done from this chair. So I have my stock board on the other side. I have all my, my tokens here within easy reach of me. I do have a few more spilling over here. My companies and money is going to go here in front of me. And then the player companies are going to be here along with the money. And then so the companies that each of these players own are going to be over here on this board. And we're going to keep track of who owns what by using the little tokens there. So what I have here is I have the same 4 people from last time. Medici, the Italian investor. He likes to invest in others and Italian companies. We have Troikovsky, who believes in Mother Russia first and turn order. I have Lord Wellington, who believes in having high-value majors and just having the most valuable company in the game, which is what I mean by himself. He invests in himself first because nobody is worth more than him. De Gaulle is someone who likes to invest in French companies, and he likes to do OE runs early. The whole point of this is that the French company Plum is the perfect company to do an early OE run. It's extremely important to get Plum. It's probably the easiest company in the game to get an early OE run with. And then I added a new player, and his name is Trump, and he will be the antagonist in the game. He believes in New York routes and deals with Russia. And of course, his primary focus is on private industry because that is where he earns his money. He cares more about the private industry than he does about his railroads. Okay, so we're going to try the extra player. And the antagonist, by the way, in 18XX is pretty common. He's the kind of guy who likes to block you. He's the kind of guy who likes to sell your shares to make your price go down. Now, you may recall from the last playthrough, I told you that that doesn't work in this game very well, and it doesn't. And I think part of the reason I added him was because I want to show how it doesn't work. But the other part of it is you may see me start to just not worry about the antagonist part as much. And there is extreme value in investing in private industry. That is a strategy in this game where you go after the big private industry first in this game. And it's largely because they give you a revenue. If you remember, private industry gives you a revenue when you, so like for example, this one here, see, you spend $100, but you get $25 in revenue on every operating round. Well, that pays itself back within 4 operating rounds. That's not very long in this game. This game goes many, many operating rounds. So if you invest in heavy industry, you get your money back quick, and that revenue helps you to buy stock early. So you sort of get an edge on the other players. So I may scratch out the antagonist part because trust me on this, the antagonist doesn't work very well in this game. It can work a little bit, but I'll leave it there. And when the opportunity is right and it makes sense, I will do antagonists for him. I admit it's also not my play style. I don't like being the antagonist in board games. And I do have some friends that I picture when I visit this. So I will just try to pretend I'm them. But the private industry thing is a solid strategy. And so I will demonstrate that. And I also just wanted to show a 6-player game because I'm a 6th player in all this. And it's going to be a tighter game. You're going to own less companies in a 6-player game. So you will not have as much opportunity to do some shenanigans. So the player count drastically changes how it plays. It doesn't drastically change how fun it is, though. It is still a very fun game. Now, one of the things with a player count change like this that I want to point out is this company. If you recall, it counts as a whistle stop because it's a mining company. And every company owned by that player gets to benefit from it. And if you may recall, I think in our last game, we put this in Russia. So the Russia company had all 4 of his major companies use this whistle. Or no, I think we put it in Spain. I can't remember, but Russia and Spain are 2 really good uses for it. So you put it there, and every company you own benefits from it. Well, when you have a 6-player game, you're going to own less overall companies. So this private is not worth as much. Now, when you're in a 3-player game and you're going to own a whole bunch of companies, or even a 2-player game, which is insanity, by the way, this private is like the most valuable in the game. You see how the value of this private changes based on how many companies you own. Because this private will only get, it's worth more if you can have more and more companies run through it, okay? So this private is worthless to Medici because he doesn't want to own a lot of companies. So this one is not very helpful to him. This is the ultimate private for a person who wants to own a lot of companies, okay? So with a higher player count, this actually becomes less valuable. But you might still see Trump ticket because of the way Trump's play style is. All right, and then the next thing is I have these extra special tokens. And so red is going to be Medici's color. And then Tchaikovsky. So we're just going to put these on all the players. Whoops, I have one extra. So I'll just get rid of the red. Okay, so why am I doing this? Part of it is because, as you may recall, the last time I did this series, I was walking all around the table because I had a player sitting at each chair and all their companies were in front of them. This time around, I'm going to use these index cards. All their money is going to go on their index cards. And the companies they own, so like if Trump were to own company G here, that would actually sit on the G company. So we know that that one's owned by Trump. And what I'm planning on doing is all the companies are going to be here in this region. And I'm going to be able to play the entire game from this chair. That's the idea. How well this is going to work, I don't know. but we're going to try it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I am not going to change player order. We're just going to start with Medici being the first player, and I will be the last player. And as far as my strategy for the game, if you recall the last time we played, and I want to test it out actually before my friends come, is I'm going to try to grab an Austria-Hungary company and make it a government. And I think in the last game I was telling you that that was an awful country to have a government, but then I changed my tune after we tried it. And I sort of liked it. And so I'm going to try it again. The other thing with this game is these random tokens come out. I think there's a word for it. I just don't remember what it's called. Concession or something. It's not concession. But anyways, these tokens are these are the cities that will pay you if you can lay track there. And that changes every game. And this game is an extremely interesting one. Spain only has one. France has two. But Prussia got all three of the pink ones. The pink ones are the premium ones. And those are usually in Prussia or United Kingdom. And all three of them ended up in Prussia, which is not common. And the white ones, of course, end up in the Ottoman Empire and Bulgaria, Serbia. And then, of course, the green ones will end up in Russia, Norway, Italy, or Spain. And you can see only one ended up in Spain, one ended up in Italy, and everything else ended up in Russia. So Russia all of a sudden has all these incentive tokens. And amazingly enough, we got one in Austria-Hungary, which is in an extremely weird spot. It's here on Salzburg, which is a $30 lay. So you have to spend $30 just to lay the tile. And of course you'll get paid for it. But then look here, you got $60 mountains all around it. It's an awful place. But the one thing that should jump out at you real quick is that Kibbles and Bits that starts here now has perfect access to it. And maybe not right away, but later in the game, they can connect to it and probably nobody else will. And look at that, in the gray stage, it pays out $100. But even in the green stage, it pays out $70. But remember, you got to subtract the $30. So everything's minus that $30. So it's a decent payout is what I'm trying to say. It's definitely not one you want to start the game on. Sometimes these tiles will be where you want to start a miner, for example. And if you start the miner right on that tile, you automatically get the money the very moment that it lays its track. So this game is interesting because a lot of those types of tiles are gone. For example, there was one in Glasgow, Scotland that was awesome. That would help you to get the British, because it's so expensive to start in Britain with a miner. There's one here where there's a $20 whistle stop, and one of these cities has one. And if you can start there, you can get connected to this $20 whistle stop right away and get some really lucrative runs just out of the bat. And on top of it, you get the money from this tile, which helps you to pay the fee, because there's a $45 fee here for laying this tile to get that $20 whistle stop. Well, now, if anybody in Spain wants to get that $20 whistle stop, they have to pay that $45 fee, and there's no bonus money. So it's just things like that. It changes with every game, and sometimes it changes your strategy during this concession phase, which is what we're doing right here. We want to now bid on this stuff, and we have to base our decisions on what we see out here. This could drastically change what your strategy is going to be. As you can see, Britain has no incentives at all. So maybe you don't want to go to Britain. And that's the thing you got to think about. Now, Wellington says hodgepodge. And so we'll see how this plays out. But anyways, one thing I realized I forgot to do is I forgot to give everybody their money. So if we come over here, and you can see with concessions, a 6-player game is $900. So everybody's going to get $900. All right, so bear with me as I give everybody $900. 1, 2. All right. Medici, Tchaikovsky. De Gaulle. Lord Wellington. Trump. All right, so one other thing you may have noticed is we start with significantly less money in a 6-player game, and that also affects us. But we're going to start with Mr. Medici. He believes in Italian companies and investing in others. So Medici is the $20 chip. So we're going to come over here and grab a $20 chip, and Medici is going to do just like he did last game. He's going to invest in Barclay because that's a stock manipulation private, and that will help him greatly with his investment in others. Now, I am wondering, because if I were playing, I would never pick that one first. So maybe I should find a different one for him. So let me think about this for a second. Oh, I know. He would take A, the minor. That one is a perfect one for him. And next we have player 2 is Tchaikovsky, and he's the red chip. Now this is the Russia first player order one, and that just reminded me I don't have the player orders out. So 1 second again, I'm so sorry. I should have had all this set up before we started. Okay, so we just have, these are the 2 trains, and on the back of the 2 trains are the player orders. So you can see 9th, 8th, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They were all at the bottom. Okay. All right, so this is a giant pyramid, and just imagine these being at the bottom of the pyramid, and you can see the little diagram there. So underneath the minors, you can see a pyramid of the turn order. So I'm going to just put them off to the side here. And 6, 4, 5, 1, 7, 3, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is another pyramid that's at the bottom of this, just for table space purposes. Okay, so we're back to Tchaikovsky here. He's the Russia First company. And what does he want to do? He does value the turn order. Oh, Russia First is he wants 2 extra tile points. G. If you're playing with my friends, I'm not sure A and G would be the first 2 to go in a game, to be quite honest. D would be the first, L would be the first, or K. Those would be the 3 first ones to go with my friends. I guess arguably speaking, those would benefit anybody, and so there's no reason why Medici or the other ones wouldn't want to take them. But thematically speaking, with their strategy, these are the minors that benefit them the most. Being able to lay 2 extra track points in a big Russia where you have tons and tons of track points you need to lay is a huge bonus for him. So I'm going to roll with it, and I'm just letting you know that in a player versus player, if you think of this like a fantasy football draft, you might have been able to wait until round 2 and still get those 2 companies, right? Those 2 companies might still be available in your second turn. But we're going to just stick with theme here. And some of the reason I do this is because I want to practice. I'm going to intentionally do something that I wouldn't do in a game and see how it turns out. Because maybe, just like last time, remember I told you that we shouldn't have a government in Austria-Hungary? And that turned out to be a fantastic idea. So sometimes my what do you call it? My preconceived notions on what is strategically smart to do and what is not smart to do could be wrong. And that's one thing I enjoy about doing this series with you guys, is that I actually have learned how to play this game better by making these little silly AIs and playing them out. And I've actually learned from them, and I think I've tweaked my game a little bit. So anyways, player 3 is Lord Wellington, and you know what Lord Wellington wants. He wants Britain. So he is for sure going to take L. Yeah, he'll take L. We took it last time, but he's going to get it this time. And now de Gaulle, he wants to do the OE run. He's white. He wants to get an early OE run. So de Gaulle, what does he want that will help him in that regard? He wants player order. Yeah, that's a good one for de Gaulle. Okay, and then we go to Trump. Mr. Trump believes in private industry. So Trump is going to take the mining company. And actually, since everybody's taking miners, he's going to go after a miner. He's going to take K, which is probably one of the best miners in the game. And K is a private industry company, so I think that lines up with his strategy. Then we get to us, and I'm going to go ahead and use the red token for us. And like I told you, I really value D, so I'm going to take D. That was a no-brainer for me. So now we get back to Medici. And now Medici is going to settle in and take Barclay. And then we get to, who's player 2? Tchaikovsky. Yeah, he still values the turn order. So he already got a miner that he wanted. The turn order matters to him. So he's going to go first. All right, next is Lord Wellington. He wants the British companies, and he knows the British companies are valuable, so he can't dilly-dally on those. So he's going to go second on turn order. And then we have Trump. Again, he values the private industry, so he's going to take the mining company. Then it gets to us. This is an interesting decision for us. And, you know, how many miners do we really want? I think one thing I want to do is I'm aware of what Trump is doing. He's the antagonist. So I'm going to antagonize the antagonist, and I'm going to take the tunnel company. And I'm doing that because my strategy, I don't know if I explained this yet, is I'm going to try that Austria-Hungary strategy again, see if it works for me. I'm going to test it out. And if you're going to be in Austria-Hungary, there's a lot of mountains there, and I'm going to need to plow through a bunch of mountains to get to Constantinople. And so I want the ability to go through mountains for free. It's going to pay off for me greatly. Okay, we get back to Medici. Mr. Italian company here. He wants to invest in others. And remember last time, he got a little stiffed because he didn't want to spend a lot of his money. He actually held on to all of his money, but then everybody else spent all of their money and he was forced to buy these companies he didn't want. So what he's going to do is he is going to just take these and he's going to make it so if we do pass, he's still going to make money. And you'll see what I mean there. But basically, Medici doesn't want a bunch of companies. He already took one minor, and that's good enough for him. Tchaikovsky is all about the player order, so he's going to go third. And then we get to Wellington, who is also concerned about player order, so he's going to go fourth. And then we get to Trump, who is angry that we took the industry from him, but that's okay. He will take another industry one. But which one is the question? He wants to go to America. Remember, there's an America First thing with him. So he's going to go take H, which is actually a very, very good company. And if he didn't take H, we were going to take H. And sorry, my dog is seeing my son come home from school. So now it's to us. And we have to figure out what we want to do. And I think, I don't know what to think, to be quite honest with you. I think the Star Harbor is an excellent company. And I'm going to do that. I'll take Star Harbor. And next we go to Medici. Remember, Italian first. He's going to do this. And per the rules, that part is done. It's locked down. Okay, so we get to Tchaikovsky. And he's the Russia turn order guy. This is really crazy. What do they really want to take that much turn order? My answer is no. He's going to take B because that helps him with track laying as well. All right, so now we're going to go to Wellington. See, Wellington is going for premium companies. He's got 2 turn orders there. He's going to get 2 premium companies, and he won't be able to afford much more beyond that. So he needs to stop with the turn order. Wellington already has a minor. I think Wellington is more or less done. So what he wants to do is make sure that he can get through the English Channel. So he's going to take that. And then we have... Oh, hey, bud. I'm still recording, but I got dinner covered, so don't make anything.
What do you want me to?
Go play. All right. Next is de Gaulle. All right. Early OE run for Mr. de Gaulle. Oh, he needs player order so he can get the company he wants for the early OE run. Okay. Next is Trump. Trump is going to, again, value the industry. So he's going to do that. He's taking industry. It's actually not working for him very much because we took a lot of the industry from him. But he did get 2 really nice minors. All right, and then it's to us. We do want another minor. And I don't care about turn order so much. But what I can do is, this one's free. So I'm going to just take the free one. And then we get to Medici. He doesn't care about turn order at all. He is aware that people are going to stiff him if he doesn't buy something. But I think what he wants to do next, he does have a minor already. I think 1 minor is all he wants. So what he's going to do is he's going to take this one. Nope. he's just going to go 8th to take that. Okay, red, Tchaikovsky. This is a turn order guy. He's got 2 minors. He's happy there. He doesn't want any more of those. So I think what he wants to do now is just make sure he gets the companies that he's looking for. So he'll take turn order. And then Wellington has everything he needs. He is looking for premium stock, premium companies. So I had a plan for him and I forgot it now. We got L. He's got 2 premium companies he's going to start. He basically can't spend more money. He's going to be very tight on his money if he invests in anything else. So he's just going to go turn order. And then we get to Mr. De Gaulle, who wants to do the early OE runs. And Mr. De Gaulle will... This is a tougher choice. If he invests in a bunch of miners, he, of course, is going to have to spend money in those miners instead of his OE run. But it's not always a bad choice, to be honest. There is one miner here that's still very, very good, and I think he's going to take it. J in a player versus player game probably wouldn't have lasted this long. Okay, so now we get to Trump, and Trump is going to take the private industry. So we are now, all of those are locked out. And then it gets to us. And I do want another miner. I don't know which one I want. M is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's also not great either. I mean, you do get a free Pullman though with M, so that part's nice. That's worth $150. I bought the mountain company, the tunneling company, because I'm worried about going through mountains. So I guess I'll take the mountain miner to go with it. That might be overkill, but we'll try it. Okay, so now it's back to Medici. Medici doesn't want to spend more money, so he's going to take the 10th spot, which is free, and basically wrap this game up. He wants us to wrap up. So we're at Tchaikovsky. This is the Russian company, and Tchaikovsky already has 2 miners, and he's faced with the idea of getting a 3rd miner, and he doesn't want a 3rd miner. He thinks he has his hands full already, but he doesn't want a 2+2 either. He could try to outbid somebody. Now, I know I explained in my last series, outbidding is a part of this game, but this is a, I'm sure there's a term for it, but if 2 people get in a bidding war while the other 4 don't, those 2 people will lose the game and the other 4 will win. So this is a crazy game where bidding and outbidding other people is not necessarily in your best interest. So here's the thing. A 3rd miner is not the worst thing in the world. It's just that you have to put a minimum of $120 towards that miner, and you only start the game with $900. So if you have 2 miners already, you're already divested $240, and that's not counting what you spent for turn order and other things. So Tchaikovsky is going to pass. All right, so now we're going to go to blue, which is Lord Wellington. Now, he only has 1 miner. He can take a 2nd one, and that's not a bad idea. But remember, he wants premium. So instead of buying a 2nd miner, he's going to take the 2+2 train, which doesn't happen until the 2s rust, but he will now have extra revenue in the game. That's his thing. That's the reason why he took the L company as well. But I'm telling you, he's in trouble because he invested a lot of money. I actually didn't sit down and do the math with all these decisions, And if I were playing by myself and I was Mr. Wellington, I would sit down and do some serious number crunching because he might be in trouble. But we'll find out. De Gaulle already has 2 minors. He doesn't want a third. But he has to do something. And so he will take a third because he's doing an early OE run, and that's all his strategy is. So he'll do a third, and he's going to take M. So now we go to Mr. Trump, and everything is locked, by the way. When Wellington took that, this is gone, these 3 are gone. In fact, the only thing left in the game is E, and Trump already has 2. So he's faced with whether or not he wants 3. Who does not have 2? Medici doesn't have 2. Everybody else, oh, and Wellington doesn't have 2. So somebody's going to get 3. And Trump has to decide if he's going to be the one to get the third. And this is a tough choice, actually, because I know he wants to play the role of the antagonist, and he likes New York. I mean, whatever that means. If he starts 3 minors, that's actually going to be pretty challenging to also have majors on top of it. Trump is going to pass. So now we are faced with that dilemma of having 3 minors. And I honestly don't know how this is going to resolve. Because if we all pass, then what happens is everybody gets paid the revenue from those privates. Somebody has to take it. It's not an option. This round of the game does not end. And so what we could do is everybody could pass, and then revenue gets collected. So you'll see here that Medici's going to get, he'll get $10, $20. But Trump will get $20, $35, $45. Trump wants everybody to pass. That's why he didn't take this, right? So he gets $45 if everybody passes. Wellington gets nothing for this, but he'll at least get $15 for that. And then we will get $25, $35, $40. So we actually almost get as much as Trump. So this is the dangerous part of this, is the other players like Medici is fuming mad. Because once again, we're forcing him to buy something he doesn't want to buy. Now, Medici did prepare for that, so he's going to at least get $20. But he knows that Trump and us, we're going to get almost double what he's getting. So we're actually going to get an edge on him if everybody passes. So it gets to us, and we're going to pass too. Because we make money if everybody passes. So Medici knows that it's going to fall on him. He's either taking this now so everybody doesn't get their money, or he'll at least get some money, because he's going to get more than De Gaulle. De Gaulle gets 0, if you notice. De Gaulle has 3 minors already, and he doesn't want a 4th. He can't even afford a 4th. So De Gaulle gets really screwed in this situation. Tchaikovsky gets screwed. Tchaikovsky has 2 minors already. So that's where this situation gets very interesting. So it goes to Medici, and I honestly don't know what I would do if I were in this situation. I mean, I definitely would be aware that 2 players are going to make more money than me, but I also would be aware that I'm going to make more money than 2 players. So I'm going to be in the middle. Medici's in the middle. Trump and me will make more than Medici, but these 3 players are going to make less than Medici. So Medici's already going to have an edge on 3 other players if he passes. What a tough choice. So how will this play out? If everybody starts collecting money, if everybody collects money, then eventually Trump or me will take that third company because we're going to be making $40 a pass, right? And eventually we'll be at $80 a pass, right? If we pass twice. Well, after we pass 3 times, we'll have made $120 from passing. Well, that's enough to start another company. You see what I mean? So the passing thing could really benefit. But that's the reason why somebody is going to take it. Because some people are not making any money at all from this, and other people are making $120. That's a significant amount of money. They can't allow it. That's basically the bottom line. You can't allow people to run away with early money. So if Medici doesn't take it, Tchaikovsky would, because he'll have no choice. Medici's going to pass, and then Tchaikovsky's stuck taking it, because he doesn't want anybody making money. Medici would make more money than Tchaikovsky. Medici would have at least made some money, so he'll pass, and Tchaikovsky has to eat it, and Tchaikovsky's taking 3. Okay. If other than the fact that Tchaikovsky paid for turn order, he should be able to handle this just fine. Okay, so now we have to pay for everything and get everything set up, and off we go. Now what I'm going to do is all these tokens for these miners are going to stay on the miners, because that's how I'm going to play this game. Is when it's Medici's turn, Medici owns these, so we're going to know that that's a Medici company. So that will stay on there. So that way we know it's a Medici company. Okay, and we're going to be using these poker chips for the actual money. So when you see these poker chips, that represents ownership, not money on the company. So that's our situation, and we are done. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and pay out everything, and then I'll show you the amount of money everybody has left, and we'll analyze how strong of a position they're in, or maybe how weak of one. One thing I confess to you is I did not sit down and calculate anything. I'm doing all this off of the cuff. So if I were playing this against real people, I might sit down with a calculator and make sure, okay, if I'm spending 120 on this, do I have enough to even start the companies I want to start? There's a lot of strategy like that you got to factor in. But anyways, we're at 42 minutes. Thank you for watching. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in a few minutes.